When the doors of Crescent Valley High creaked open that morning, no one noticed the quiet woman walking through them. She wore a simple beige coat, carried a stack of books close to her chest, and had that calm, gentle smile that only someone who'd seen storms could wear. Her name was Ms. Elena Brooks, the new literature teacher to most of the students. She was just another replacement, another adult who'd try too hard to fit in and fail within a week. But to 3 students sitting in the back row, she was fresh prey. Jake, the self-appointed leader of the class; Liam, his loyal sidekick, the kind who laughed loudest when others got hurt; and Sophie, sharp-tongued, always ready to humiliate anyone weaker than her. They'd made a sport of breaking teachers, scaring them, mocking them, pushing them to quit. That IT was their way of proving power, and Ms. Brooks looked like the perfect target. The class started in a mess. Brooks gently placed her books on the desk and looked up. Her voice was calm, steady. "Good morning, everyone." A few responded. Most didn't. Jake leaned back in his chair, spinning a pencil in his fingers. He smirked. "Morning, Miss Replacement." Laughter rippled through the room. Ms. Brooks didn't flinch. "Thank you for the greeting, Jake. I'll take that as enthusiasm." The class went silent for a moment. No teacher had ever responded like that. Calm, warm, and unshaken. Liam whispered, "She's weirdly confident." Sophie smirked. "Give it a day. She'll crack." By the second day, the war had begun. Someone drew a mocking caricature of Ms. Brooks on the whiteboard before class. Someone replaced her chalk with soap. Someone even sneaked a note onto her desk that said, "Leave before we make you cry." She saw it all, and yet she never raised her voice. She simply smiled, erased the drawings, replaced the chalk, and kept teaching. But then came the final test. Jake and his gang decided to break her. Publicly, it happened on a rainy Friday morning. Half the class was dozing off when Ms. Brooks began reading aloud from To Kill a Mockingbird. Her voice carried warmth, conviction, and something deeper, something that made even the loudest students fall quiet. Until Jake stood up. "Hey, miss," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Why are we reading this old garbage? Nobody cares about this stuff anymore." Ms. Brooks looked at him. "It's not garbage, Jake. It's a story about courage, about doing what's right even when you stand alone." He scoffed. "Right? Like you know anything about courage." Phones started recording. The perfect viral humiliation. Ms. Brooks stepped closer. Her tone stayed calm, but her eyes had changed. "You're right, Jake. I do know something about courage." The class went silent. "Let me tell you a story, not from a book, but from life. 3 years ago, I taught at a school in another city. There was a student there, bright, funny, full of potential, but he was also angry. He thought the world was against him. He started pushing others down, the way you do now." Jake frowned. The room grew quieter. One day, his anger went too far. He humiliated another student, right in front of everyone. The boy he bullied stopped showing up to school. A week later, that boy took his own life. The air froze. No one breathed. Ms. Brooks looked down at her hands, then back up, her voice trembling, but strong. That bully never forgave himself. He begged for forgiveness, but it was too late. And do you know what broke my heart most? I was his teacher, and I couldn't save either of them. The silence that followed was deafening. Jake's smirk was gone. Sophie looked away. Even Liam's eyes had softened. Ms. Brooks continued, stepping closer to the front rows. "You think mocking a teacher makes you strong? It doesn't. It makes you a prisoner to your own emptiness. Real strength is using your voice to lift people up, not tear them down." Then she said softly, "If you want to laugh, go ahead. But remember, every word you say to someone carries a weight you might never see." No one moved. No one spoke. Jake slowly sat down. He couldn't look her in the eye. His phone was still recording, but this time, he hit delete. The rest of the class stayed quiet until the bell rang. When it did, they left slowly, each step heavier than the last. But Jake stayed behind. He walked up to Ms. Brooks, his voice shaking. I'm sorry." She smiled softly. "I know, and I forgive you. But promise me, Jake, next time you see someone being bullied, be the one who stands up." He nodded, tears forming in his eye.